Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be a wee roundup of the transfer, contract and other Celtic related stories starting off this week. Before we crack on with the video, please do consider, if you haven't subscribed already, clicking that subscribe button. Keep the numbers pushing through the 600s. If you do like the video, click that like button. Does help encourage YouTube to send this video and this channel to other Celtic fans and football fans. And as always, please do put your pleasant, polite, constructive comments into the comment section. We can have a nice debate amongst like-minded Celtic fans. So, few stories linked to Celtic. It would appear that two players Celtic are said to be closely interested in: Matthias Kvistgaarden of Brøndby and Bojan Miovski of Aberdeen. It would appear both clubs have now set an asking price for those two players. Brøndby are asking for €10 million, which is £8.5 million approximately, for Kvistgaarden, and they do seem particularly keen to keep hold of Kvistgaarden for another season. It was said that Red Bull Salzburg in Austria were closely following him, but as soon as Brøndby quoted the 10 million price, they have withdrawn their interest. And I personally think at 8.5 million, we're paying twice as much as what would be reasonable for Kvistgaarden. I think he is a very talented young footballer. I think he has the potential to get better and better. I am pretty sure he will score goals very successfully in Scottish football, and has the potential to score in Europe as well. But I think a price just under our record transfer fee ever is far too much for a player who is yet to fully prove himself at the highest level. Bojan Miovski from Aberdeen. Aberdeen apparently has set an asking price of £7 million. It would appear that Bologna in Italy and Feyenoord in Holland are both looking at signing Miovski, and there are a number of English Championship clubs, such as Birmingham and at one point Bristol City, although they appear to have been scared off by the 7 million asking price, and also Southampton are said to be looking at bringing in Miovski as a replacement for Che Adams, who's left on a frequent contract. £7 million, I think, probably is a wee bit above what I would value Miovski at, but I think personally I would stretch to that if the options for Adam Ida completely disappears. Although personally I would prefer to go for Tommy Conway, who has the benefit of being that bit younger, that wee bit faster, much more two-footed, and also has the benefit of being Scottish, and so may well be of assistance in the UEFA quotas for homegrown and Scottish players and home-trained players, which Celtic do tend to struggle with at the moment. Talking of a Celtic player who would qualify as being Scottish and home-trained, Vata appears very much on his way out of the club. He's had a couple of very generous new contracts given to him by Celtic, which he has turned down. According to his dad, the ex-Celtic player Rudy Vata, Vata currently has 14 other offers on the table. Teams such as Watford, Bologna, Notts Forest and Brentford. And it does look like Vata will be leaving us very soon. I think he's had every opportunity to sign his new contract at Celtic. I think he actually would be much better served being at Celtic maybe having a season away on loan to get full first team experience, and then coming into the Celtic main squad. I think he's much better at in that role rather than sitting on the bench, or even on the bench at Premier League sides in England, such as Notts Forest, Brentford, or in the promotion aspiring teams such as Watford in the Championship. But we'll see what happens with that one. And finally, when I woke up this morning and was trawling through all the various different football sites and Celtic sites, multiple sites are quoting that Celtic are expressing an interest in signing Theo Bair of Motherwell. Now, Theo Bair did actually have a really decent season last season for Motherwell, scored 15 goals, 6 assists in 41 games for Motherwell, and an overall season rating of 7.09, which is really pretty decent. And is currently away with Alistair Johnston on Canada international duty at the Copa America, and his Canadian career is of two caps for Canada with 1 goal, and he's previously represented Canada at other age group levels as well. To be fair, I was quite impressed with Theo Bair in his games for Motherwell against Celtic last season. I think he's a decent player, tall at 6'3", quite strong, has quite a lot of pace for a man of his height. But although he did have a good season last season for Motherwell with those 15 goals and 6 assists, and did actually have a very good end to the season with Motherwell, looking at his full career stats, 136 games, 23 goals and 11 assists. So 8 of his goals have come in the other 95 games that he's played as a pro, and also his stats when he was at St Johnston prior to coming to Motherwell are pretty incredible. 38 games for St Johnston, 1 goal and 3 assists. I think 1 goal in 38 games for St Johnston does show that I cannot see how anybody could think that Theo Bair would be Celtic quality. Now, Theo Bair, just looking at his actual stats, he has a 42.5% shots on target rate, which is decent. Kygo is at 53.62 for last season, and so Kygo was that bit more efficient. Over his career, Kyogo's for Celtic scores every 4.38 shots. Theo Bair's from over his career is 1 goal every 4.87 shots, and for shots on target with Theo Bair is 1 goal every 2.07 shots on target, whilst Kygo has 1.94 shots per goal. And so Kygo on the stats is a better striker than Bair. And for me, as I said, I don't think Bair is a goer for Celtic. 24 years old, so probably just getting to that age where he's unlikely to improve any further. Maybe with good intensive coaching from Rodgers and the Celtic coaching staff, he might get better and better. But for me, the stat of 1 goal in 38 games for St Johnston pretty much says it all. And I really, really hope that there is no intent to bring Theo Bair to Celtic. There are hundreds of much better options out there, and I much would rather Celtic go for Ida, Miovski, Conway, Kvistgaarden, Sidney van Hooijdonk, our long list of other players. Other wee interesting name just cropping up on Celtic radar is said to be an 18-year-old youth team player at Middlesbrough known as AJ Matthews. Played for England at under 17 and under 18 level, and to be fair to him, last season for the Middlesbrough youth team 17 goals in 18 matches, which is really rather decent. In terms of stats, it does look like, however, there are quite a number of English Premier League sides looking to sign him, primarily Newcastle, but Celtic and Rangers are both said to be in the market to sign AJ Matthews. I suspect that AJ Matthews will not be coming to Celtic or to Rangers, but as it is a name that was put forward as being linked to Celtic, I thought it was worthwhile popping in the coverage of that name in. So you can do your own research on Matthews, and obviously if that story does develop, I'll do my best to research further stats and video highlights if they exist for AJ Matthews. One final bit of news is that it's been announced that the Scottish Premiership fixtures for the 24-25 season will be announced on a Thursday morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and so I'll do a video a wee bit later on Thursday morning, just summarising who our first few games are against and when our likely key games against our big rivals will be, but we'll find out on Thursday morning when that first fixture against Rangers is to be held, and also who our first few games are against in the season starting in August. So that just about finishes things off for today. No further movement as yet on the deals for O going to Genk, Paulo Bernardo coming to Celtic. A lot of contrary and contradictory stories regarding what's holding up the Paulo Bernardo deal. Some rather outlandish claims that he was due for £1 million per year from Benfica in his contract. That seems very much out of step with the fact that we were paying him £5,800 per week last season, and that at Benfica the season before he was on something like £3,500 per week as his weekly wages. So I don't really believe the stories regarding Paulo Bernardo being due £1 million per year, and I don't really reckon he would be meriting £1 million per year for a Celtic contract based on last season. I think short contract, a couple of years, 3 years, and then if his performances did for Celtic reach that level, no problem at all in upgrading him to the kind of money that Kygo, Hatate, Maeda, O'Reilly, Carter Vickers, McGregor have been getting. Also, no further movement as yet at time of recording on any other deals, such as for Livakovic, Kvistgaarden, Amartey, or any of the other players that Celtic have been said to have made a bid for. So, of course, as and when any of those bids go through, or any definite news, I'll come back with another video summarising and giving my own thoughts on those deals, etc. So for today, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, goodbye, and hail, hail.